Okay, this is part 2 of my conversation with David Judson Clemmons. In the first part, if you missed it, we heard a track from his new record called Tribe and Throne that was called Servants at the very top of the conversation. And then at the end of part 1, we heard a tune called Cherokee. Heading into part 2, let's do another tune. We referenced this one a little bit later in the conversation, but let's go ahead and play it now. This tune, which David seems to like quite a bit, is called It or the Dome, and it's another one from Tribe and Throne, new from David Judson Clemmons here on StudioB.
I think a lot of our time in America, and I'm tight with my right arm man. A love alone in a mind crawl. Tell me who feeds the better life. Now I dream of sweet fire.
Back into my conversation with David Judson Clemmons, an RVA artist now living in Germany, as he has been for the last quite a while. It's an official unit of time. So here's the rest of my conversation with David Judson Clemmons on StudioB.
This album, for example, we met. I had some ideas, and we met, and I think we had 6 or 7, like 2 to 3 hour practices. And in those practices, we wrote the songs, plus 2 more that are not on the album. And then in 5 days, we recorded them all in similar situation. And then, and I did all the vocals myself while I was working at my antique shop in the back on the old Windows XP computer. That's how I did the vocals.
Wow, really? And, did you have to treat the room or anything? Did you do anything to it?
Not at all. No, not at all, man. A friend, the drummer brought me a Manley preamp, a big one.
Oh, that's
with
nice.
With all the filters on it and everything, compressor preamp, analog, and then I ran that into my little Tascam interface into my new Windows 3, Windows XP, and with a U47, of course.
See, you had the gear. You had a couple pieces of that chain, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that was the point was, he said, you need to use the good stuff. Because I had been using a Beta 58 and through a little Lexicon preamp, mono preamp. And I thought, fuck, that sounds perfect. It can't sound better. And he's like, oh, yeah. And then he brought the headphones so I could really hear, because he brought these Sennheiser, they're really expensive studio monitoring headphones.
Mm-hmm.
And I did all of that at the shop while I was like watching the window if a customer was coming or something, and got all that done. And then I was able to do that and then send that off to get it mixed. And then so the point is that creating the music part, I don't actually spend any time on it. I hardly ever spend time. I never practice at home or anything. I just, when the time is right, it just kind of happens, and somehow it doesn't seem to take any effort at all, and that's why I never quit. Is because it feels so correct to just make music, record it, put it out. The space between my releases is quite different. Like in the 90s, I had releases like in 93, 96, 97, 98, and 2000. I had 2 releases, and then the third re-release right after that in 2001, and then another release in 2001, and then stretched out a little bit more to 2004, which is the first album I think that you played from me, the Life in the Kingdom album, and then 2006, 2008, and then 2010, like more like every 2 or 3 years, I was able to muster up a release. And now in the last couple of years, it's gotten even less. So then, now it's like 3 to 4 years. So I don't know. I don't spend, my point was, because you said I'm always releasing different music and all of that, but actually I don't really invest that much time in it. So I'm happy with the result, especially since I don't spend a lot of time practicing or rehearsing or anything.
But you've got so many different monikers, whether it's Judd or David Judson Clemmons or the Full Bliss. I mean, the Full Bliss that's more like the Full Bliss with David Judson Clemmons, though, right?
Yeah, kind of eclectic. Neither one of those bands would or should continue without me, I guess. So it's kind of like my way of splitting up my different sides. But the reason I named the new album just with my personal name, because it seemed to, although to some people it makes sense, but to me it like feels confusing, because then it comes down to when your band wants to do a picture and and then you want to put it on the website. It's like, well, what is it? Because we're playing songs from both bands, and what is it? What are we in your band? Which band are we in? Or and it's like, what? And so it started to get more and more like, because I wanted to keep things loose and not hammer down, things so solidly. And so lately I've just been using my name to try to keep it from offending anyone, and kind of try to free up the future. Kind of the way I sold it to myself was like, let me look forward and not think so much about what I've done. Let me think about what I could do. What could I do in the future? And this is like the kind of like the first try to really do that.
Now, did you actually hook up with Greta Brinkman over there?
Yeah. She I think we were friends on Facebook, and then because she's making creative frames and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like she makes, out of old wood, and I was able to sell some of her stuff in my shop, and so
Oh, that's
kind of
cool.
how. She came over and when she brought me the stuff, I still had a bigger shop and I had a bit more customers. I was working more hours and stuff, open more. And so I was able to sell some stuff, but then towards the end it got a little bit slow. And so she came by a couple months ago and picked up everything, what hadn't sold. But she saw one of my concerts, and we talked about if I needed a bass player, I would ask her one day or something like that. But I mean, at the moment, nobody's playing anywhere, nobody's doing anything.
Yeah.
So I guess it's going to be a slow restart. But
That's
but
cool.
yeah, and so I got to meet her a couple times, and she's a good carpenter. Boy, she does good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, she's very, very talented in general.
Yeah.
Well, excellent, man. This has been a long time coming.
Oh, wonderful. You're so nice to talk to, man.
No,
What's going on there? Give me 3 sentences. What's going on in Richmond?
man, I mean, with the whole virus thing, everybody's pretty much locked down. Although I'm sure, as is the case over there and everywhere else, the artists are figuring out a way,
Yeah, the Zoom.
Yeah,
Great.
a lot of the Zoom performances, daily shows, daily little shows, variety shows. Some bands and artists are doing things like recording, say, like taking a track that they've recorded and then recording themselves individually playing the track and then editing it together as a cohesive performance. They're really getting creative with it, and it's really cool. And stuff like this, which is ironically the hidden benefit to this so much. We used to all, get off the streets or out of the marketplace and retreat and become anonymous, except from behind the wall of a Facebook message or something. But this is actually facilitating sort of more, discourse that might not otherwise exist. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's absolutely the truth. That because people are craving for some kind of interaction, and if you're not getting it any other way, then it's going to come more and more to this. And the Zoom thing exploded, and I mean, we've been watching the Jimmy Fallon videos.
Yeah.
They're great. Yeah, and that inspired me. Like, shit, man, that's like, we could do that without even preparing anything. We have that much chaos in our house already. We could just turn on a camera, and and that would be sellable material. And that's the good part about it. Yeah, but I definitely miss a lot about Richmond. My mom and my sister are there. And funny that my sister messaged me twice while just now on Instagram while we were talking, which is funny because she doesn't message me that often. And so I'm doing an interview with you in Richmond, and my sister from Glen Allen messaged me. That's cute, man. That I have to look and see what she said. But and so whereabouts are you from, if you don't mind me asking? What part of town are you from? Like,
sure.
Are you from Richmond?
No, not originally. I grew up in Northern Virginia, outside of D.C., and I was playing in, high school and early college years up there. I went to 2 years at George Mason and was playing metal up there, playing drums in a metal band. Dropped out of school at George Mason to try to make it. And
Pipe dream.
Yeah, that whole thing. We were playing like late 80s, early 90s thrash, like Slayer and Anthrax and Metallica. Yeah. And then
Motley Crue.
No, not so much. Actually, a previous band had played Motley Crue, but we kind of outgrew that.
You guys are flair, then yeah, that would prove to be a nice grassroots feather in your cap later. Yeah.
So I decided to go back to school and had visited VCU before I went to George Mason. Of course, I stayed up in Northern Virginia at Mason to stay near the band, which I don't know. Good decision, bad decision, who's to say? But ultimately, I really liked VCU, and I was like, I'm going back to school, and I'm going down to Richmond. So I did, and Richmond just really agreed with me. I really dug VCU, got into the radio station there, started playing with some people down here. And then when I got into radio here in Richmond, I was gunning for a full-time slot somewhere, and I was mainly just doing weekends. I said, well, at least let me do a local show, a locals only show. So that's when we started StudioB in 1995, and we had the Seymours, a local band here. They were on the very first show in studio. So
yeah, I definitely know the name, but I can't remember anything about them. But I definitely remember the name.
they were sort of alternative pop, really good pop though. Really good pop. One of the guys, his name's David Farah. He's down in New Orleans now with a band called, I think, Big Blue Marble. And then one of the other guys in the band, Tony Amendolia, owns a brewery here called Final Gravity, which is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
and that's how you kind of got stuck there. Were you what is UR90? What was that station?
WDCE 90.1 was the University of Richmond station.
Right. Okay. Because I was there a couple times too, but the VCU station, I guess I never had anything to do with until you, if you supported me while you were there. But I don't remember when 2004, 2005. Yeah, man. Yeah, you can definitely count on me if you need anything from me, if you want to put this on YouTube or whatever, like we said, please do.
Okay. Cool.
And you had said something about picking a track or something from the album. Should I pick one, or do you want to do it? I mean, I would be happy if you would. I mean, I would love it if you would pick what you want to play.
All right, I will. Do you have a favorite? I love the two opening tracks.
Right.
But those are the first two I heard. I haven't spent as much time at the last three. Yeah, the first, Our Love, Our War, and My Trust, and then Servants and the Loyalty I haven't heard yet.
Okay, well, a lot of people are saying that Servants is maybe the best track on the album, but the thing is, slow start, repeating end, like Loyalty could almost be considered maybe like a ballad of the album. It's a bit more taken down. The third song, Dark Walk Home, could probably fit to I'm not sure what kind of show if the people have patience, long songs.
That's on them. That's on them. I don't care.
Yeah. The second track, My Trust, is probably the most user-friendly, not having to wait too much for a chorus or something like that. I think that might be. It's also raw. It's a bit of a Judd vibe. It's really raw, detuned, single coils. Kind of jumps out as a raw track, where the other songs might sound a bit more polished. Yeah, I think I would probably vote for track 2 or 3. I would not pick 1, Our Love, Our War. I think I would say maybe leave that for the real prog heads, discover it on their own. But I would pick 2 and 3, 2 and or 3.
Okay, cool. I'm going to spend some time with the whole thing though, and I'll pick 2 or 3.
Cool. And unless you want to have a real spooky headphone start or something, because song number 5 has a really cool intro. The second one, It or the Dome, will freak you out. The ending, it does a 180. And I really like that about that song, the front part. Maybe the lyrics grab you. So I hope you have time to really listen through it from beginning to end a couple times. I'm really proud of that album. And a lot of people don't listen, even myself. If I get a new album from somebody, man, I skip through it just like everybody. It's like nobody has 43 minutes of spare time anymore. But the people that did listen through to it told me that it's the masterpiece, best thing I ever did. But I mean, I think you really, in order to really get Tribe and Throne, you really have to have that time to let it roll from beginning to end. I found myself really, we mixed it in one piece, the whole thing. We put all of the songs in one session.
So you set one track with the same settings all the way through?
Yeah, we mixed the whole album as one song.
Oh.
And then we made, so we didn't have 6 different files for the 6 different songs. We made one session file, and that was the songs stacked behind each other. And so we were able to mix the whole thing with small changes for each song. But really, that's kind of how we did it. And I found myself thinking about it right from the very beginning as one big piece as opposed to 6 chunks, you know. And so I have a hard time listening myself even to just one song. I really like to have it from the whole thing. Yeah. So anyway, I sold you on that, I guess. Yeah.
That's cool. Hey, are you sitting beneath a staircase?
Yeah.
Did you build that? Do you build that?
I did. Can you see it?
Yeah, spiral staircase, man. That's legit.
I'll show you. I mean, I'll walk you around if you want.
Sure. Let's do it.
You have a minute?
Yeah. Where am I going? There's nothing outside but coronavirus.
Yeah. This is kind of an interesting house project that we have here. Like, we bought a house that was built in 1938. It's a very small house. Everybody else would have just bulldozed it and ripped it down. It's a hut, like a hut, right? Like a little wood hut. It's about 20 by 20, something like that. And then what we did was we added on to it. We thought that we'd be cool by adding on to it, but in the end, it was almost a catastrophe. So this is like an old German house that was built in 38, and then we've got like the standard old kid drawn on doors everywhere.
Right.
It's like it's no yuppie house. And then what we did was we a friend of ours helped us, and we thought we'd do a little ad on the back, you know, just a little add-on, right? And then my friend said, "Hey man, if you're doing the add-on, you have to make it 2 floors because it's hardly any more work, right?" And then one thing led to a next, and then all of a sudden we made this. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see the beams and all that?
Yeah. Those beams are awfully close together. Are they all weight bearing?
Funny that everybody says that. We don't understand exactly why, but they're not all. Only the ones in the middle are that close together, and I really don't understand why. But everyone said, like the Zimmerman guy, right? When they were doing it, I even asked them because they just work from the plans, right? From the architect, and they said they're all like this these days. I'm like, okay, really? He said, yeah, they're all like this. Because everybody that comes in says, why are the beams so close together?
That's funny. Yeah. I had no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. But you know what they are? I don't know if you guys are using this in America. They're finger jointed together.
The beams are?
Yeah. They're not solid through. They're
Where? Where are they jointed?
Yeah, like really right in the middle, finger jointed.
Huh.
There's different points that have finger joints. It's like, you know, like they make an IKEA table with little chunks of wood. That's how they're made.
Huh.
And I guess that is so strong that you can actually use them for weight bearing beams. And I guess they stagger the joints, the finger joints. And that could be that might have something to do with why they're so close together. But the thing is, they use them because especially those because they don't twist.
Mm-hmm.
Because these Poratone stones, what we build with these days, I'm not sure if you guys are using those like sandstones, are really lightweight, and they'll just break apart if a beam like that starts twisting. it'll just break the house apart,
Oh,
right?
oh,
So I think that's probably because they're probably more compatible with the new uh, the kind of building bricks, what they're using, because they don't use those heavy bricks anymore. They only use these lightweight. Well, that's like Lego stones that you glue together.
that's really
My wife
cool.
will kill. My wife will if I show you our kitchen. You know, it's just fucking nothing finished anywhere. Yeah, and then we've got upstairs, and then yeah, that's oh, I wish it was a daytime. I could show you, but look at that. This is the best part: is the oven, right?
Oh, that is nice. I bet that
And
gets nice and warm.
yeah, we use that the whole year. I mean, not the whole year. I mean, in the winter we use it like the whole day. Like, oh, that's our heating, right? And we have some electric heaters, like some newfangled things. This is a Klimt painting, but it's also a heater, and
Well,
it's like
yeah.
a panel. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but it's electric, and they're quite efficient. They're quite good,
No,
and
I've heard of Klimt, but not panel heating.
yeah, they'll print stuff on there for you. And this one here is pretty cool. This is a chalkboard, and then that's our like secondary heating, but we use the oven for most everything. Yeah, yeah, and then that's like the add-on, and in the end, that was a real unbelievable. That was like building two houses. So if any friend ever asks about buying a house and then adding on to it, I always say no,
No.
don't do it. Yeah, because it's like building two houses.
But if you
And you,
do the second floor, right?
yeah, if you do the second floor. Yeah,
That's
man.
that's pretty cool. Do you want a quick tour of this little room I'm in since you gave me a tour?
Oh, please do, man.
See how long I can get it.
So
All right.
this is this is where you're living, right? This your house? Or?
This little room here. So the living room's in there. It's
Cool.
and
A nice green. Yeah, that's the same green we have in our hallway. Ooh, is that a Mackie?
yeah, over here it is. Yeah, I got my little mixing board. This is why I got the light treated.
That's is that a 16? Is that one of the
Yeah, 1604.
yeah, because those are incredibly good. Oh my God, they're so good.
They're
And so
indestructible. That thing is 20 years old.
yeah, that when they introduced those, that revolutionized like home mixing and recording with the analog mixer, because they were totally silent and they sounded good also, right?
Yeah, and I mean I have a little rack
Ooh,
down here. So the preamps are down there in the Focusrite.
right,
They're running into that eventually. They go through the Mackie first. I do voiceover, so I've got a couple preamps down here and
right.
a couple little things and a Ableton board to do some electronic stuff, and got a electronic kit back there and my little reading spot.
SG.
Yeah, an SG. Yeah.
Nice. And so you have a real music room. That is incredible.
Bunch
So
of
you're doing
crap over here.
recording, bit of home recording, and
Mm-hmm.
you I see some posts of you in the studio. The red something look like. What is
Yeah,
that?
yeah, that's a studio downtown. They're called Red Amp Audio,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they do a lot. I partner with them to produce podcasts for people, and a couple of my own, including this one.
Yeah.
And we bring bands in and set them up and record them live. So we put them all in isolation and then record them live, and then interview them while they play, and then release it as a podcast with live performances.
Ah, cool. Okay, so because I never listened to the shows, but I remember seeing the posts, and so I'll try to make it a point to listen to some of that. And that's also with local bands, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, all local bands.
Oh, you're so supportive. That is really cool. Where were you when I was there doing Motley Crue covers, man?
I was doing Motley Crue covers also
Yeah,
in Northern Virginia.
yeah. That's how we did it, man.
That's right. That's
But
right.
incredible, yeah. We would get dressed up Yeah, but yeah, we learned. Yeah, we also played some Skinner though.
Oh yeah, you got to play some Skinner. And people that I mean, all they need to know is yell "Freebird" or "Stairway," and I guess you got to have one of those.
Yeah, and back then those songs were not that worn out yet. You could actually still have them. When I was playing high school parties, you could actually still play songs like that.
Right, they were still novel.
But when Wayne's World came out, it was that was the end of the line. Yeah.
That's right. Well,
Yeah, man.
cool, man. I know it's almost. I don't know if you're a night owl, but it's almost 11 o'clock where you are, right?
Yeah, but I've enjoyed this more than anything. I feel like I haven't talked to a human being in a while, but it's also, I don't want to say only because of that reason, but it's like, it's also really pleasant to speak with you. And of course, I appreciate it more than anything that you took some time with my music. And you know that I greatly appreciate that. And I miss my homies back there in Richmond. And I'm in touch with a lot of people. So shout out to Hermitage High and all my old friends there.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, and if people are going to work hard and put their music out, I want to support it. And let me know if you ever need me to check on your sister and mom for you.
You're exactly right, and I appreciate that. In fact, you even plugged my mom. I gave a radio plug to my mom, and she that was really nice, man. That was so cool. That was a couple years ago already.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
Really did it. You really did it. Yeah. That was so nice.
I remember that. That's funny.
Made her year. Yeah. But yeah, cool, bro. Well, thanks very much for that. Keep it up, and yeah. Let me know if I can send you anything else. If you want to do it again, if your quality's not good or something, man. Anytime, I'm here.
Sounds good, right, man. Yeah, I do appreciate it. Continued good luck, good health, and I will talk to you soon, my man.
Okay, wonderful. It's been great. Okay, bro.
All right, brother.
Later.
Take care. My thanks and appreciation to David Judson Clemmons for his time and his conversation, an RVA musician who's been in Germany for the last number of years. His new record is called Tribe and Throne, and let's do another track from that record. This is track 2. It's called My Trust. You can get his new record everywhere. Here is My Trust from David Judson Clemmons on StudioB.
what they're after. Your light is what they're after. Your light is what they're after. In this time that remains, that's all that ever matters. The sky brings rain.
And that's going to do it for my conversation with David Judson Clemmons for the nth time. His new record is called Tribe and Throne. You can go to one of the many links that I presented during the podcast, or you can hit me up for more information. Thanks again to David Judson Clemmons for hanging out just a little bit and having a chill conversation and playing some music. See you next time on StudioB.
StudioB is produced in Richmond by Jay Smack at Smack Sound Productions. Send music and feedback to StudioBRVA@gmail.com. Support local music. Go out and see a band.